If I had known life was so short, I would have stopped far more often just to look at the sky. Not a hurried glance on the way to the car, but really stopped, feet rooted to the ground, head tilted back, eyes open wide, watching clouds drift slowly across the blue, colors bleeding from gold to rose to deep indigo. I would have let myself feel small again, the way I did as a child when the sky seemed endless and kind, and everything else felt temporary. I would have remembered that feeling more often. I would have listened, really listened, when my children spoke. Not the distracted half-presence I so often offered, nodding while my mind raced ahead to tomorrow's problems, to the next task, to the next worry. I would have set everything aside, phone face down, work forgotten. I would have looked straight into their eyes and stayed there until the last word of their story, no matter how small or rambling, had been said. I would have let their voice be the only thing that existed in that moment. I would have said "I love you" out loud every single day, not saved it for birthdays, for crises, for hospital corridors or final goodbyes. Just said it naturally, quietly, on ordinary mornings over breakfast, on tired evenings when nothing special happened, even in the middle of a disagreement. Because most of life is ordinary, and love needs to live inside ordinary days far more than in the dramatic ones. I would have hugged people as if I meant it, not those polite one-second social embraces, long, warm, full-hearted hugs that let the other person feel your heartbeat against theirs, that say without any words, "You are not alone. I see you. You matter to me more than you probably know." I would have hugged my wife every time she walked through the door. I would have hugged my friends when we parted after coffee. I would have hugged my grandchildren every time they ran toward me and held on just a few seconds longer than they expected. I would have forgiven faster, much faster. I would have understood sooner that every day I carried an old resentment was another day I quietly poisoned my own peace while the other person moved on with their life. I would have learned to release things before the hurt turned into scar tissue, before the scar turned into a wall I could no longer climb. I would have said, "It's okay. I let this go," instead of silently keeping score for decades. I would have spent more lazy, aimless afternoons with my parents while they were still here. Not just the obligatory holiday visits or quick phone calls, just sitting together and sometimes in silence, watching them do the small things they always did. Fold laundry with care, water the plants, hum the same old song from their youth. I would have asked them everything I never thought to ask. What were you most afraid of when you were my age? Who was the first person you ever loved? What dream did you quietly set aside? What made you laugh until tears came? I would have recorded their voices when it was still simple. I would have taken more photographs of their hands. I would have walked barefoot in the grass whenever I could. Felt the cool earth, the tiny blades between my toes, remembered that I belong to the ground and I will return to it one day. I would have let myself feel connected instead of separate, small instead of important. I would have danced more, even when I looked ridiculous, even when no one was watching. In the kitchen at midnight, in the living room with the curtains closed, with my wife, or completely alone. Because joy does not need permission or perfect rhythm. It just needs us to stop being embarrassed of our own bodies moving. I would have written more real letters, not messages that vanish in seconds, not emails. Real letters on paper, in my own handwriting, words I chose slowly and carefully, so that years later someone could unfold the page and still feel the warmth of my hand, still hear my voice in the shape of my letters. I would have sat in silence much more, not filled every empty moment with noise, screens, podcasts, conversation. Just sat, alone or with someone I loved, and let the quiet do its gentle work. Let silence teach me things no book or advice, column ever could. I would have said no without apology to the things that slowly stole my peace, to jobs that demanded too much of my spirit, to obligations that felt like invisible chains, to people who only took and never gave anything back. I would have guarded my time and my heart the way a gardener protects a young plant, with quiet, loving firmness. I would have traveled more slowly, not tried to collect countries or cities like trophies. I would have stayed longer in the places that felt gentle, sat by the sea until the tide came in twice, watched the sun rise over a mountain and then set again without once reaching for my phone, just watched, breathed, let the moment carve itself into me. I would have told my real friends, the few who truly knew me, exactly how much they meant while they could still hear it. Not waited until the funeral to say the beautiful things we keep locked inside until it's too late. I would have planted more trees, not for shade I would ever sit under, but for the shade someone else would enjoy long after I was gone. For birds that would sing in branches I never saw grow tall. For cleaner air because I chose to put something alive into the earth. I would have read more poetry, slowly, sometimes out loud. Let braver words than mine teach me how to feel things deeply and speak them without shame. I would have laughed louder at small, silly things. Let joy pour out of me without worrying who might think I was childish. I would have cried more freely when sorrow came. Not swallowed the tears, not forced to smile, not said I'm fine when everything inside was breaking. Allowed grief to move through me like a storm instead of building a permanent house inside my chest. I would have asked for help sooner. Admitted when I was lost, tired, afraid, ashamed, instead of carrying it all alone like a badge of honor. I would have said thank you more and meant it with my whole heart. To the stranger who held the door, to the colleague who covered for me, to the person who loved me when I was hard to love. I would have made gratitude a daily practice instead of an occasional thought. I would have done more things that served no purpose at all, lying on the grass watching ants walk in perfect lines, staring at stars until my neck ached, daydreaming without feeling guilty about wasted time. I would have owned fewer things, not filled shelves and boxes with objects I thought would prove I had lived. I would have kept less and felt lighter. I would have touched people more gently, my wife's hand, my children's hair, my mother's shoulder. I would have remembered that touch is its own language. I would have made space every day to feel connected to something larger than my worries, whether through prayer, silence, wonder, or simply looking up at the night sky. And most of all, I would have lived every day remembering that this life is not practice. It is the only performance we ever get. Every sunrise, every argument, every quiet evening, every heartbeat is the real thing. There are no second takes. There's only now, and then it's gone. I didn't live like I understood that. Or maybe I understood it somewhere deep inside, but I didn't let it change the way I walked through my days. Now I do understand, and the understanding is both beautiful and painful because so many moments are already behind me. But you, if you're still here listening to this quiet voice, you still have mornings you haven't lived yet. You still have people whose faces light up when they hear your name. You still have time, not forever, but right now. So please, do what I can only wish I had done more of. Stop and look at the sky. Listen like it's the last time you'll ever hear that voice. Say the words waiting in your throat. Hug like you mean it. Forgive before the wound hardens. Laugh at something small. Cry when it hurts. Ask for help. Write the letter. Plant the tree. Dance badly. Sit in silence. Say thank you. Touch gently. Do it today, not because tomorrow is promised, but because tomorrow is not. And if one day someone remembers you, even if only a few people, let them remember someone who finally understood, while there was still time, that life is heartbreakingly short, and loved it with everything they had anyway. Thank you for sitting with me tonight. If any of this touched something inside you, please leave one small thing below. One thing you would do differently if you truly believed the years were this fragile. And then, go do it. Not tomorrow, not when it feels easier, right now. Good night, my friend, and please, live like every day is the day you always meant to start living.